Today we'll start this another interesting concept in MongoDB, aggregation pipeline. You might have heard of this term aggregation in your previous database management system classes. What is aggregation? What is aggregation? Have you heard of this term? Say you group a set of rows together, you apply one function on it and you get one distinct value for that group. So that comes under aggregation. We have seen a lot of things in aggregation in relational database management systems. But we'll see how aggregation works in MongoDB. We call this aggregation pipeline. We'll see what is this aggregation pipeline. The MongoDB aggregation pipeline is a framework for data aggregation modeled on the concept of data processing pipelines. So what it does is, it has several stages. We can call each one to be a stage. So you give input, your collection becomes the input. Maybe in this stage we filter the documents. In this stage we find the aggregation. And in this stage we are going to write this to another collection or write it to the screen. So we send this collection across several stages. So you call that to be a pipeline. So you have many stages in aggregation. The first stage may be, just taking out the records we need for the aggregation. The second stage may be just projecting the fields that we need for the aggregation. The third stage may be finding the aggregated values, accumulated values. And finally, the final stage will be writing the data to the output. Documents enter in as input into a multi-stage pipeline which transforms the documents into aggregated results. The only thing you have to keep in mind with aggregation pipeline is you have several stages and the documents pass through each stage and then finally we write it to the output. So when I talk about the stages, I was telling you about the stages, right? Every time we move the collection to a set of stages. So this is one stage, this is one stage, this is one stage. I was telling you at each stage we perform certain action. So these are the stages. I'll say these are some of the stages in the aggregation pipeline. So whatever you are seeing on the board, what we say that these are some of these stages, not all these stages. In the aggregation pipeline. So what we are going to do now is we are going to understand what each stage is, independently what each stage does, and then we'll put these things together and then we'll see how this particular aggregation pipeline works. Okay, we'll start with this first stage, $match. This is one of the stages in the aggregation pipeline. So what is $match? It is used for matching or filtering records based on certain criteria. For instance, I want to match all the documents of employees from Vellore. So here you have a criteria, right? It's like filtering. Get me all the documents of employees from Vellore. So, yeah. So I'm going to use this particular database for all my demos now. I'm just showing you the database. So this database we'll use. So what I have in this database is I have a few records of employees. So the fields in this database is name, address and salary. So I'm going to use this particular database for all my demos in aggregation pipeline. We'll take a look at what are the things we are going to do. We are going to start with this very first stage, $match. So how you use $match is, say when you talk about aggregation pipeline, it is supported in this particular method .aggregate in MongoDB. So whatever stages you're going to use it inside .aggregate. So you're going to give db.collectionName.aggregate and inside that you're going to specify the stage. This stage is $match : I'm saying get all the records of corresponding to address Vellore. So this is one particular stage. So it will take the collection, filter the records and move only the records of employees from Vellore to the next stage. That's the idea here. And $match should be used only within the aggregate method. It can't be used in any other methods. Please understand that. So we'll go and see how to use $match here. So we want all the employees from Vellore alone. So we will say db.employee. aggregate. So always use these stages inside the aggregate method. And what we are going to do is we are going to use the address field and we are going to just filter value. Okay, that's it. And this will be used under which stage? $match. So that is the very first stage we are learning. So we are matching all the records of people or employees from value. Okay. Let me repeat this. So you give $match and then you open address and then you give value. So you have to close this. That is one of the problems with MongoDB, missing the curly brackets. Can you take one more example in $match? Like, fetch me all the records matching the employee name Satish. Can you write the query for this? Fetch me all the records that match the employee name Satish. Let me clear the screen. Let me try this one out here. db.employee.aggregate. And what you are going to use here? We are going to use $match. Yeah. And what is the field we are going to use? I am going to use the field name, and then we are going to give another field equal to, and it's a name Satish, so we are going to give it in quotes, and then we have to close 3 brackets here. Okay, so that's how you use $match as a stage in the aggregation pipeline. Let's take another example. You're going to write a query for this. Using $match, display all employees who get salary 10,000 and work from value. Filter using the stage $match all those employees who get a salary 10,000 and work from value. So how can you go and write the query for this? So how can you go and write query for this? We'll take these 2 conditions. Salary is equal to 10,000. So db.employee.aggregate. Open parenthesis. What is the stage we are going to use? $match. And then what are the conditions we are going to use? If salary should be 10,000 and that person should be from Vellore. So obviously you are going to use this AND operator here. When you use an AND operator, you are going to populate that with an array of expressions. So what is the first expression? Salary should be equal to, it's $equal. It's 10,000. Okay. Salary should be equal to 10,000. And we have to close these 2 parentheses, comma. What is the next condition that we are going to use? Name should be equal to $equal to Satish. Is that the condition, or its address equal to Vellore? So address should be $equal to Vellore. Okay. Close the parenthesis, close the array, close the parenthesis for the AND condition, close the parenthesis for the match, and then the method. So there is one issue here. I'll tell you what that issue is. Here I have not closed the quotes for Vellore. Yeah. So there is one particular employee by name Harini who is from Vellore and whose salary is equal to 10,000. So you have to take in a lot of practice to see to that you are closing all these parentheses for the query, or else you are going to get literal and not terminated before end of script error. One famous error we should be used to. Okay. So that is one of the stages. We'll take a look at the next stage, $project. What is the use of project? We have seen projection in our previous classes. Say if I have 10 fields, I can project only 2 fields to go to the next stage in my pipeline. So I can project a certain fields. For instance, I can have employee ID, I can have name, I can have salary, I can have address. I just want to project only 2 fields, maybe name and address, to go to my next stage. So for that, what I'm going to use is I'm going to use the stage name as $project. And we'll take an exercise here. Project only name and salary of all the employees. So we'll go and see how to use this $project in our query. So how will you use this? It is db.employee.aggregate. So this is another stage. What is that stage? $project. we are going to project? We are going to project only name and salary of all the employees. So you just give name 1. We know how to project a certain field from a previous class. And then what are the things you are going to project? Salary. We'll give it as 1. If you want to suppress the ID, what you are going to do? ID 0. And then you close the required parenthesis. So here what we are doing in this stage is we are just projecting the name and salary. Okay. So this is another stage that we are going to use in our aggregation pipeline. Can you just project the address and write a query for projecting the address? Can you try that? How will you project the address? db.employee.aggregate, and then we want to project. So you have to use $project. Say you have to use $project only inside the aggregate method. Don't forget that. And what we are going to project? Just the address of all the employees, and then we'll suppress their IDs to IDs 0. So this is another stage that will be used in our aggregation pipeline. Is it clear? So now comes the next thing. Let's put project and match together in one aggregate method. Let's use them together. Let's see how these stages work together. So the question here is match all employees who get salary greater than 10,000. So we are going to use $match for filtering the records. So once when your match is done, you send it to the next stage. Only for those employees you project their salary and address. So this match will match only employees who are getting a salary greater than 10,000. And it will send all those filtered records to the $project stage. And what $project will do, it will just project their name and address. I mean salary, name, salary and address. So let's go and try and see how to use project and match together in one aggregate method. So we'll try that. So I'll write the query here. So how will you do that? db.employee.aggregate. Always use the aggregate method. We are using 2 stages here. The first stage is $match. And what we are going to match, all the employees who get a salary that is greater than 10,000. Okay. So you close the stage. That is the first stage. And then what we are going to do is we are going to go to the next stage. That is $project. So from the match, everything will go to the project stage. And what we are going to project here is, say we'll project only the name and the salary of all the employees. So we'll give name 1 and the salary 1. Okay. Now you close this parenthesis, you close the method. So you are showing here the difference between the stages. You can see here, this is one stage. You finish the stage, comma, and then you give the next stage. So the records will be filtered here, move to the stage, and then only for those records it will be projected. Let's see whether this one works. Yeah. So you see here, every employee here gets a salary greater than 10,000. And what is being projected for these employees? Name and salary alone. So that's how you use multiple stages inside the aggregate method. $group. So what is this $group? This is another stage in the aggregation pipeline. This is very much similar to or equal to group by in your SQL. You would have used group by class in your SQL. So it's the same. So we'll take a look at what is group by. For instance, you consider this data, what we have here, address and salary. If I want to find total salary for each address, say for Vellore, what is the total salary? For Goa, what is the total salary? For US, what is the total salary? So what are the things that we have to apply here? First, we have to say on which ID I am going to group things by. Say here I am going to group things by ID called address. So for Vellore, so that is an address, right? So I'll group it, all the records for Vellore I'll group together. And I'll use another function that is sum. I should find sum of salary. So what is this sum going to do? It's going to take this group and then find the sum. So sum is 40,000. So two things are needed when you're working with a group by. One is the ID on which you are going to group records. Here the ID is address, so I'll group records by address. And then once after grouping, what I should do with this group? What kind of function I should do? What kind of accumulation I should do? Here, sum I can call that to be an accumulator operator. It accumulates the fields. Say 30,000 plus 10,000 will be 40,000. So that is group by, and I've just displayed the result for this query here. Let me erase all the ink on the slide. So display total salary for each address. How that's going to be? This is how it's going to be. Are you clear? So for Velu, what is the total salary? For Goa, what is the total salary? For US, what is the total salary? So this field, we call that to be the ID field on which we are going to group. And this field, we are going to, after finding the group, we are going to apply a function, an aggregate function or an accumulator to accumulate the fields. Are you clear with this? How group works? Now we have to go and see what is $group in MongoDB Aggregation Pipeline. It's nothing but group by. So it takes a set of input documents by a specified identifier expression. What is this identifier expression? This is the ID, the address, and applies the accumulator expression. What is the accumulator expression? Sum. I am giving an example. Min, max, average, sum. There can be a lot of accumulator expressions there. If specified for each group. Consumes all the input documents and outputs one document for each distinct group. So when you take a look at the previous slide, Vellore is one distinct group, Goa is one distinct group, US is one distinct group. You accumulate and then you have one output, one record for each distinct group. So that is the thing. Yeah. The output documents only contain the identifier field and the specified accumulated fields. So what will you display when you find sum of salary? Display the address and total salary for each address. That's the meaning of this. So I have given the SQL query to here. So how will you write a SQL query for grouping something? It's nothing but select address, sum of salary. This is where you apply the function as total salary. This is the alias for the sum of salary. From table name employee, group by is the class, address is the ID on which we are grouping. Okay. When you map that to aggregator function or method in MongoDB, this is how it works. $group maps to group by, and underscore ID is the syntax. Here expression is nothing but address, on which field we are grouping by address, comma. So that is expression, comma, and then we have to give the alias. That is what expression I am going to give here is total salary, colon, accumulator is I have to give $sum. Whatever accumulator function I am going to use, colon, and then the expression. What is the expression? On which column I am going to apply this particular $sum? That is on the salary. So that's how this particular group by class maps to a $group in MongoDB. There is nothing but $group. The ID is address, comma. This is the output. That's total salary, colon. The accumulator function is $sum, colon. On which field we are going to accumulate salary. That's it. So let's try this in MongoDB. Let's see whether I am successful with this. So what we are going to do is we are going to group salary based on address. So let me go and find this db.employee.find. Let me show you what all things I have. Let me project only the name, or what I will project here is address and salary I will project. Okay, so let's see the address and salary for my employees in my database. So it's ID 0. Okay, so for each address I want to group the salary and display that. How can I use that in MongoDB? Is db.employee.aggregate. So you go with aggregate, open the parenthesis, then you give $group. Okay, and then you give underscore ID, colon. So what is the ID we are going to use here? We are going to group it by address. So we have to give your dollar address. Please keep this in mind. We should not just give address, we should give dollar address in quotes. That's the syntax. And what's the output that I'm going to get? Total salary. So that is the field I want. Colon. And here I should use an accumulator function. Say sum is the accumulator function, so I'll give dollar sum. Colon. On which field I'm going to accumulate? Salary field. So again I should put this as in quotes dollar salary. You should not just give the field name, you have to give dollar salary, and then you have to close this for sum and close this for ID and then group and close the method. Okay. I hope this should work. Yeah. So what it does is, you can see Vellore has got 40,000, US has got 16,000 and Goa 1,63,000. If you go and sum this, for US you have 16,000. For Goa you have 1,50,000 plus 9,000 plus 4,000, that is 1,63,000. For Vellore it is 40,000. So how you apply this? You give group the ID by which you are grouping, but you have to give that in quotes with a dollar. Comma total salary colon dollar sum colon dollar salary. Don't forget to give dollar before the field names when you are using the group stage. I told you this accumulator function dollar sum or accumulator operator, that's what they say in MongoDB. So what other accumulator operators we have there? We have so many, we have at least 15 to 20 accumulator operators. I'm just showing you some of the things that we may be frequently using. Dollar average, it's for finding the average. First, so it groups the records, right? Maybe you find this when I'm grouping it by salary. This will be one group, this will be one group, this will be one group. So it will return the value from the very first document from each group. If I want to just return the first salary from each group, I can do that using this particular thing called dollar first. I'll show a demo of this. So what we are going to do is, we are just going to group it by address, and then what we are going to do is first salary from each group. So I'll just give first salary here. And instead of sum, what we are going to use? First. And what field we are going to consider here? Salary. So let's run this. So you see here, for Goa, what is the first salary? 9,000. For US, what is the first salary in that group? 5,000. For Vellore, the first salary is 30,000. So if this is the group, it returns the value from the very first record. If you want to find the last salary or the value from the last record in that group, so if you take Vellore, there are two records. What is the last record salary? 10,000. You can very well group and return that by using this accumulator function. Only thing is, I'll just give, instead of first, I'll give dollar last, and then I'll say last salary. So you see here, what is the last salary for Vellore? 10,000. So that is the group, and the last document in the group is having a salary of 10,000. So these are some of the accumulator operators that you can use with your dollar group. Dollar last we have seen. Dollar max, find the maximum salary from each group. How can I find maximum salary from each group? It's just very simple. You just go and change the output max salary. Instead of dollar last, I'll give dollar max. So it's going to find the maximum salary from each group. For Goa, it is 1,50,000. And then go and very well verify that. See, Goa max is 1,50,000. For US, 1 lakh, it's 11,000, and Vellore 30,000. Like that, you can find minimum salary, and you can also find sum. So these are some of the accumulator functions that we can use with dollar group. So this is the exercise. You are going to write query for this. Display the total number of employees for each address. Here I am not asking the sum of salary or anything like that. It is display the total number of employees for each address. From Vellore, how many employees? From US, how many employees? From Goa, how many employees? How will you write this in SQL? Select address count star as total employee from employee group by address. So we will first group it by the ID called address, and then we'll run a count star for every group. So we'll get for US 2, for Goa how many employees we have? I think 3. For Vellore we'll have 2. So how can you try this in MongoDB? I will try this query in MongoDB. You can also try writing this. So it's db.employee.aggregate. So all these things come under the aggregate method. And then we are going to use $group. And then we are going to use an ID. What is that ID? Address. We have to never forget $address. It's very important. Okay. And then we are going to find total employees. And what we are going to do, total employees, we have to use an accumulator function here. Here, we don't have a count. What we are going to do here is we are going to use $sum. And then we are going to give 1. That's how it counts. You don't ask me any questions here. We don't have a count here. It's $sum, $1. And we close all the parentheses. So we close it for the sum ID. Yeah, that's really weird to have $sum and $1 to give me the count of all the employees. I went and tried googling it out to find exactly why it is given like this, $sum and $1 to find the count of employees. I was not able to get to an answer, but then I got convinced, okay, we have to use it like this. So there's no other go. Maybe you can find the answer and let me know. So that's how you find the count of employees or using an ID. Okay. We'll take a look at the next interesting simple stage, $out. Say at every stage I'm filtering records. Maybe next stage I'm projecting certain fields, next stage I'm grouping. Finally, I will use $out. This is the final stage in your aggregation pipeline. It will write the results to a collection. So I want to write all the results that I get after grouping to a collection. I can do that using $out. The very simple syntax for $out is you just give $out and then you give the collection name. So if you want to write it to test collection, we'll just say test collection. So what it will do is it will write all the results to the this particular collection called test collection. We'll try this. See, I have this db.employee.find. I have this records here, right? What I will do is I will use $out and write this collection as a backup to another collection. So it's db.employee.aggregate, and then what we'll do is $out we'll use, and then we'll give some collection here. Say I'll do Satish collections. I'll just give name there, Satish COL. So this will copy employee and write it to Satish collection. Now if I go into db.satishcall.find, so you can see my entire records written to this collection. From where these records were copied, from employee, the records were copied to Satish collection. So $out is for routing your output to a collection. That is the final stage. You cannot use $out before $match or $project. This is the final stage in your aggregation pipeline. It will write it, it will overwrite it, it will not append the data. Very good question. So if you are going to use $out and you are going to give a collection name, we'll just flush all the data and write this data as a new set of data. Okay, we'll see that. So what we'll do is we'll now take the exercise in aggregation pipeline. So you all have learned this, right? Now you can start working on this exercise. Write the address and total count of employees from Vellore to a collection by name Vellore count using the aggregation pipeline. Write the address and total count of employees from Vellore to a collection by name Vellore count. So there are certain things I am worried about. I am only worried about employees from Vellore. So I will match all the employees from Vellore. And I am only worried about total count of employees. So what I will do is after matching, I will do a $group. How will I group? I will group it on the address. No need to even do a $group. We also have another stage called $count. We can directly use $count here too. I'll tell you what that stage is. Okay. So what is this thing? Match all the employees from Vellore and write the count to a collection by name Vellore count. First we'll try and write this using $group itself, because we have learned that we'll use $group and try and write this. So let's go and try this in MongoDB. So will you try this? db.employee.aggregate. The very first stage is $match. I'm going to match all the employees whose address is from Vellore. So its address is from Vellore. That is the match condition. Okay. Once one match is done, next thing is we'll go with $group. So for this we'll find the count. How will you find the count? $group, and then we have to use an ID here. ID is $address. Okay. And we'll close it. Next, what is that we are going to get? Total count. And we have to use this accumulator operator, that is $sum1. So this will give me the total count, right? I have to write this total count to an output collection. For that, I'll go to the next page, that is $out, and I'll give the collection name, say Vellore count. DELL_count. I'll give this collection name as Vellore count. Okay. Okay. Close this. Close the aggregate method. So 3 stages we have. Let's see whether we are getting the output here. Okay, it has returned to the collection. So we'll go and see db.VelloreCount.find. What is there inside this collection? It says Vellore has got 2 employees. Is that correct? db.employee.find. If you go and check the number of employees for Vellore, you're going to have Satish and Harini. These 2 people are from Vellore. So we have written this using match, group, and $out. So that is the aggregation pipe. There's one more easy way of doing this. You can also find the total count using another stage called $count. I'll tell you how to do that. So there's another stage called $count, db.employee.aggregate. We'll take the same exercise. We'll go with $match, and then we are going to match address to be Vellore, right? Next, what we can do is we have another stage, that is $count, which you can use as stage itself. This will actually find the count of all those records that is coming from the previous stage. We will save this total count. And then we'll pass this output to $out. Again we'll pass this to Vellore count. We'll just write the count now. Okay. I hope this should work. Let me check. So now we'll go to db.VelloreCount.find. So it would have written the total count out. So total count is 2. So $count can also be used as a separate stage. What it does is it takes the records from the previous stage, count the number of records. So how I have used $count here, $count colon. Total count is nothing but the name for the result, the alias for the result. Okay. So like that, we can take more exercises. We can have a lot of exercises. So I don't have time to finish this right now. I should have completed all these things today. But anyway, can you try writing the next query? Write the total count of employees who are from Goa and who earn a salary greater than 1 lakh and less than 2 lakh to a collection by name Goa details. Can you write the query for this? Total count of employees who are from Goa and who earn a salary greater than 1 lakh and less than 2 lakhs to a collection by name Goa details. I'll try this one, then we'll wind up. db.employee.aggregate. We have a lot of conditions here. So first thing is we are matching $match. We have 2 conditions for matching. One is employees who are from Goa and employees who get salary greater than 1 lakh and less than 2 lakhs. So obviously you're going to have a $and here, and you're going to have an array of expressions given. So we are going to have salary, which they are going to get is $greater than 1 lakh. and also salary should be dollar less than 2 lakhs. Okay. And those employees should be from Goa, right? So we'll say address should be from Goa. And we have to close all these things. So I have to see. So we'll close this. Address should be from Goa. How is that you're going to write? You're going to use dollar equal to, and then you're going to say Goa. I thought I missed something there. So you have to close this, and then you have to close the array operator that we have opened, and then you have to close the AND operator that we have opened, then match. Then we have to go to the next stage. So we finish the match. Salary greater than 1 lakh, less than 2 lakhs, and address equal to Goa. Next stage is, what is that? We will go with the dollar group here, and for this we will use an ID. So we are going to use ID. What ID we are going to use here? We want count based on address. So we will use address here. So dollar address. And what is it we want? Total count. And what is the accumulator function? Dollar sum and 1, because we are counting. And we'll close this. Group is closed. Finally, we have to write this to an output. So that is dollar out. What we are going to write, say this is Goa count. So I'll say it is Goa count. Okay. Then you close the. I hope this should work. Let's see. Yeah, this works. So db dot Goa count dot find how many employees are in this range from Goa with a salary 1 lakh to 2 lakh. We find the total count here. So there is only one employee. So we'll go and find all the details of employees from our table. So find, and address should be from Goa. So how many employees are there? What is the count of employees? You see here, there is only one employee who is getting a salary between 1 lakh and 2 lakh, and that's the count returned to our Goa count collection. With that, let me wind up.